Save space. Okay. So also I was trying to think about what are we doing with our lives? I know we do Ger, that's obvious. We do Zohar. Oh yeah, Muzzle. How did I forget about that? I had forgotten about that. And Jock and I do Even Shlema. And there's always Nefesh HaChaim auction. But what I want to talk about is closing the door so the kids don't drive me crazy. Now, we talked about is there a Ger Toshav today, and solving that riddle, kind of an updated version of solving, and we found it in wine. And I'm looking in Avoda Brura, which is the commentary to Avoda Zorah 64b, where we have one of the 4 classic Ger Toshav sources. And it looks like the wine is the main source of Vizer Ger Toshav today. And as I'm looking into that part of Ger Toshav, I came across something pretty interesting that I'd like to have kind of an open discussion. And it goes like this. So you guys can feel free to unmute when I ask a question like I'm about to ask. Is, how do you say this? We all know what wine is. It's a silly question, I'm aware of that. But let's start thinking of wine according to Torah, which is not religion. Can we do that? Can you guys give me an answer of kind of a description of wine in the context of Torah? Anyone have that answer for me? Going once, going twice? Anyone? Anyone? Jacques, someone, Ross? Anyone? What is wine according to Torah?
Fermented grape juice.
Does that mean you drink a lot?
No, it does not mean drink a lot. Drunk is out of the question.
Yeah. So wine, in terms of Torah, is to be guarded from an idolater pouring it in an idolatrous way. Does that make sense?
I'm thinking about Noah, that apparently the very first thing he did after landing on solid ground was planting some grapes to make some wine. But I heard the other day that was like symbolical, that it was not exactly.
Yeah, but that's, even though, yes, that is Torah, I want to call that more of Agadata, the fable of Torah. I want to talk more about the law aspect of Torah. As we know in the Talmud, there's always Agadata and law. Let's focus on the law. Therefore, wine, I should have made that clear. Wine in Torah law, the law aspect is to keep it from becoming used idolatry doesn't exist like today. There is no idolatry today. And this is probably one of the 5 hottest topics in Ger circles, topics to speak about. Because I mean, the essence of Noahide Ger is the renouncement of idolatry. And what people in the Noahide world don't want to realize is 2 things. Number one, of exile, there cannot be idolatry. Number one. Number two, the world has elevated to Ger Toshav, says Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, because even though countries may be hypocritical, I don't really, there should be no country that advocates transgressing the 7 Noahide laws. Now, I know they do, but in terms of world norm, in at least on television, should be to keep the 7 laws. Whereas in the ancient world, even 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, that reality of countries and kingdoms respecting the 7 Noahide laws. And there is such a thing as a heretical Noahide. Islam is considered heretics. We only believe in God. Now, you guys know my famous Muslim joke. 2 Muslims are talking. I love this. This is my joke. 2 Muslims are joking. Won't it be glorious when Allah brings retribution to the world? Yes, it will be glorious when Allah, praises be upon him, brings retribution to the world. Won't it be glorious when Muhammad, his prophet, witnesses the salvation? Yes, it will be glorious. And won't it be wonderful when Muhammad is with God in heaven, or Allah in his kingdom? No, a man named is not with Allah.
We don't hear you now, Rabbi. Something happened.
What's that?
Yeah, now we hear you, but we lost half of the joke.
So again, if religion were to be kosher, which it could be, if my religion is purely monotheism, ostensibly I have a kosher religion, if that's the extent of it. But in my religion of monotheism, I believe things like the Mashiach will save me. Okay, Jacques, is my religion kosher? I believe in God and only God, and the Messiah. You can feel free to unmute. Yeah.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Let me open the door. Does that help? Does that help?
Okay.
I open the door to give me a stronger Wi-Fi. Does that help?
I can hear you now. It's still stuttering a bit, but I can hear you now.
Okay, so in my religion, I believe in one God, and I believe the Messiah will save us. Do I have a kosher religion?
I wouldn't say so.
No. And I believe in Allah, and Allah is the only God, and his prophet Muhammad will celebrate the glory of God, of Allah, with him in his kingdom. No, maybe you could have said you believe in one God. Maybe his name is Allah. I don't know. But once you go Shituf, all bets are off. So while you may have a kosher religion or a kosher Ger Toshav world, there is such a thing as heretical truth, right? Countries believe in Ger Toshav on the surface, but they are heretical underneath in that they perpetrate the 7 Noahide laws openly or directly. So,
Rabbi, let me ask something, because I'm very confused about this concept. You said that there is no idolatry today, and then I wonder, I mean, we see Christian friends bow down to a card figure of a very sad man in a piece of wood. That very much looks like idolatry to me. How is that not idolatry?
because that's the whole point, is it looks like idolatry, Now, did you know that I worship my phone? I call it Samsungism. I absolutely worship my phone. I kiss my phone. I sleep with my phone. I worship it. My phone is my life. Now, I may be insane, but is there any real power in my phone worship? No. There's no actual power. You don't need to fear me. You don't need to be like, oh no, David the phone worshiper is here. Everybody take cover, because David with his sorcery and his phone can bring retribution to the world if we don't stop him. You don't need to fear me. You need to stay away from me because I'm crazy. So today, idolatry doesn't have any power. If I go on Facebook and say, I'm a witch and a warlock, and if you insult me, I will put a spell on you. No, you won't. You don't need to lose any sleep. You don't need to worry about this Meshugana on Facebook. But in a time of real Avodah Zarah, it's a very serious threat. It's a very serious wisdom, and you better be careful.
So but what about Ain Hara, the bad eye? I think that exists today, or no longer.
Ain Hara is something interesting. I think there's a koach to it, but I don't think it has the ability to go to Avodah Zarah. I think there can be spiritual things on a certain level, but Avodah Zarah is like a very, very serious level of wisdom that has real effect and power in the world. So when a Christian says, you better stay away from me or Jesus will save me because of you, you don't need to lose sleep over your little Jesus friend. It's not worth losing sleep over at all. But if a real version of Jezebel popped up today, Pinchas was afraid of Jezebel. Eliyahu, you need to worry about Jezebel. That's a very serious threat. But today, there's no threat of Avodah Zarah. They don't have the wisdom to do the things they can now. You can be a very threatening person, right? I can say, I'm going to kill you in the name of my deity. So you don't need to fear my fervent belief in my deity. But if I'm yielding an axe and waving it at your head, you should fear me because I'm crazy and I have a desire to put you in the hospital. But then you call the police. You don't need to call a shaman, voodoo, anti whatever, okay? You need to fear me because I'm crazy and I'm a murderer. Now I'm perpetrating the law of murder. I'm not a threat in Avodah Zarah. And today, the thing that a Noahide or Ger would reject is Shituf, which is why Ger is so powerful, because Shituf is the thing to reject today. It is the thing. And in proper Noahide law, there is worshiping Shituf like Avodah Zarah. So if I believe in Jesus, which technically I can believe he is the Messiah, technically, even though that's a little bit shady too. But in terms of pure religion, there's no difference in Jesus is the Messiah or the Rebbe. There's no difference. Now, if I start believing in Jesus, and Jesus is the Son of God, he's my this, he's my that, now I've moved into a Shituf, which it's very, very easy to move into a Shituf from any kind of religious belief. This is why religion is very, very dangerous. Right? The Rebbe of Lubavitch is the Messiah. Let's make that clear. I'm a Chabadnik, and I believe that. Okay, you're technically allowed to believe. My dog is the Messiah. Could be. I'm not sure. My dog is very special, and I think she could be the Messiah. I may be a little bit crazy. I may be a little bit fanatical, extreme, naive, and I'm allowed to be naive. I'm allowed to be as naive as I want. But once I start saying things like, I give my dog special food because my dog is the Messiah, like all kind of weird things, it's going to move into Shituf. It's very, very easy to move into Shituf once you have an extreme religious belief. And once we go into Shituf, it is very, very easy to serve my shituf in an idolatrous way. So I like to bow down to my dog every day, 3 times a day, when I feed my dog, because I believe that my dog is divine, because the ancient Egyptians used blah, 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 blah. Now I am turning my belief system into a service that is very much like Avodah Zarah. Now, will I actually be given powers of my dog and my dog given power? You don't need to fear me or my dog, but I'm literally insane, and you should fear me as an insane person that could do harm to you on a criminal level, not on a Avodah Zarah level. Okay, now that we made that clear, wine in the Torah, again, I don't know what Avodah Zarah is. I've never lived in an Avodah Zarah time. For whatever reason, in Levitical Torah, you don't associate your holy Torah wine with idolatrous wine. Again, I've never lived in a temple. I've never lived with prophecy or Avodah Zarah or any of these things. But apparently, the Torah made it very clear that wine is special to the temple and a Levitical reality. And when you intermingle that wine with idolatry, it's really, really bad. Is that clear? So now, when we are in the exile, and these things are not, the Levitical reality has been taken away from us, 100%. Not 99%, 100%. There is no chance that I can prove that I'm a Kohen and that I should be given holy Kohen food. As much as my religion would make me believe that I'm a Kohen and I deserve these things and I'm the holy and I'm all of these things. When I go to the synagogue and I say, I am the holy Kohen and great, you believe that in your religion. But there is no chance of anything holy happening to me as a Kohen. Not my holy food, not my holy service, nothing. Nothing, not even 99.9% not against that. Nothing will happen. So in this non-Levitical reality that we are living in, which is deep exile, the situation that we've been in for 2,000 years, but I don't think it's really safe to say 2,000 years, because let's say at the end of the first temple, or the second temple, which even the second temple was kind of a joke if you think about it in terms of Levitical reality, because they were not in a Levitical reality. No, let's actually go back. Let's go back to the first temple. First temple is straight up Torah Levitical reality on every level. If I show up at your doorstep and I say I'm a prophet of the God of Israel, you better believe me if I really am. If I say I'm a witch and I'm going to curse you, you probably should believe that, right? We're talking straight up real Levitical reality, right? I'm going to leave my family once a year, whatever, go serve in the temple, eat holy food. It's very, very real. So the temple is destroyed and we go to Babylon, the Israelites and the Gerim. We come back to a fake temple and a fake Torah, and a fake mitzvot, and deep religion. And they live this little hatzagah, is Hebrew for play, fiction living, pretending that everything is holy and real, and it's a suffix, it's quasi. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not real. It's not clear from the Talmud how real it was or was not. They treated it very real. They lived it. Was it real? I'm guessing probably not, which is why that temple was destroyed, which is why Jesus's prophecies were probably not as profound as the Christians want you to believe. Oh, the temple's no kidding, Jesus. Of course it's going to be destroyed. It's all fake. This is not a real temple. It's not a real Levitical reality. It's not a chiddush for a fake Messiah to be saying. It's like me saying today, hey, everybody, I'm the Messiah, because here I'm gonna let you know, Judaism is not really real today. Look at the Haredim. They're all doing this. I'm telling you, this is my message. Okay, David, you're not the Messiah because you called out a bunch of religious extremists in Bnei Brak, okay, for not being, we know that. It doesn't, every Israeli knows that. It's not rocket science. But I'm going to create my own religion of Davidites, right? Because David said that today's Judaism is not really Levitical. Wow, way to go, David. You really got it. So that temple is destroyed, okay? Now, again, what level of reality they were living, Levitical or not, whatever it is, it was still pretty close to the temple. So that lifestyle continued. Imagine you're living in the year 100, okay? The temple got destroyed 30 years ago, right? You were bringing offerings, whether the Kohanim were real or not, the offerings were apostle or not, you were bringing something to a temple somewhere, somehow. And suddenly it got destroyed. The Romans were bad guys. And they're, you know what I'm saying? You're still living in a Roman reality. Imagine that. Imagine that. There's no temple, but, you know, there literally is a Roman Empire. And now you have a very real new religion called Christianity, you know, and Judaism is still very much thriving in a certain respect. They didn't even need the temple, which shows you how fake the temple was, because Judaism was very, very strong. So I'm not really interested in if it was fake or not. They were living something very real to them. And then we go into, let's say, the Talmudic era. Okay, these guys are writing the Talmud. This is Babylon. So they're very, very close to the fire. Then you move into the Crusades and the Rishonim. And now you have Rashi. Literally, there's crusaders going to Jerusalem to fight for whatever, Jesus, the cross, all these things. Religion's very real to these people. And the Talmud's real. It's the Dark Ages, for crying out loud. I mean, what, you know what I'm saying? So then you move into like the early industrial revolution, the Achronim, you know, 400, 300 years ago. And it's the beginning of the modern world, but there's not much going on other than religion, really. And then you have today. I mean, I am literally speaking to you from Jerusalem. Think about that. We're in the land of a Jewish people. There's a lot going on. I don't remember how I got onto this topic. But anyhow, and the point is that wine and Avodah Zarah and all of these things were very real for a very long time, even if they were not truly real for a very long time. Understand? It doesn't matter if they were real or not. I would even say Judaism was real maybe until the year 2000. Think about it. If I am a religious Jew in 1985, the world in 1985, in my opinion, was very much like all the ancient times. Even though they had electricity, TV, radio, a lot of things, the internet has so much changed the world. Think about it. If this is 1985, you people are going to be at best reading Chaim Chlorfein's book, Path of the Righteous Gentile. At best. Jacques, you tell me, if it's 1985 and somehow you decided to leave the church, what are your options? It's 1985. Maybe you'll have a copy of Chaim's book, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, you really have no options.
There's no internet, man. If you're gonna call me, it's gonna cost you $100 to talk to me from South Africa and a phone wire under the ocean echoing. Okay, you're not calling me. And I think in South Africa, you probably didn't even have anywhere near the TV Americans did, right? There's no internet. You're gonna write me a letter with a stamp on it. So at best, you're going to get a copy of Chaim's book if you're lucky. If you're lucky. So you're a Noahide at best. In religion, you know, the internet and globalism and travel has radically changed the reality of Torah and religion, as much as the religious don't want to admit that. I mean, Israel is very much a dream for a Jew to go back and live it and make Aliyah today. Goyim can come to Israel very easily today. Things are different. Not to mention that science has evolved in aspects to something very true. As you guys know, that I take body composition very seriously. I've changed my body and my life and my health very seriously by following true science. So the idea that science is just not Torah and therefore garbage is a garbage religious point of view. There are things that are very true. So we pretend about the wine and all these things, but in the end of the day, there is no biblical wine reality anymore at all, not even a remnant of the memory. So what we have is the religious prohibition that the non-Jew, which is a rabbinic term, not Torah Levitical. The Levitical term is Nachri, and a Nachri is anti-Israel, and Israel is a nation pro-God. That's it. Israel was a nation created to be pro-God, and the contrast, the antagonist to that is the Nachri, which is a no-God nation. Today, Israel is Jew, and Jew is my religion, and non-Jew is non-Judaism. I am a very devout Christian, and Jesus is my Savior, and the Jews killed my Savior. I am very not Jewish. Is that clear to you? Very par excellence, not Jewish. I hate Jews. Every day I go to church and whatever. And a Jew is purely Judaism religion. In terms of the definition within Judaism itself is I am a Jew because I love my Orthodox Judaism. That is the definition in Judaism itself. So I am a religious Jew on the highest level of observance, and you are a Christian on the highest level of your observance. Therefore, you are a non-Jew, and I am a Jew. Is that clear? And my wine is now somehow special to me because I would never let your Christian hands touch my wine. You see how our relationship is defined now? You are a goy and you are impure. All of Judaism comes in now through this vortex. You understand? I am Jewish and my religion is everything. You are the exact opposite. I stay away from you. You are a danger to my religion. See how you used to be a danger to my soul and my God, my relationship to God? Now you are a danger to my religion, and I adhere to my religion, which is why I'm very against religion. This is a construct. And once the world goes,
Although I can still be sent to the store as a Shabbos goy to bring you the kosher wine.
So we have not discussed yet what a Shabbos goy is, because a Shabbos goy is not a non-Jew. Non-Jew is a distinction, Eino Yehudi. And a Shabbos goy, in halachic terms, is called Amira La'akum, right? So there is a certain level of friendliness that this goy, he can have with me, the religious Jew, and we educate him on certain things. In real deep halacha, it's called chaverut, that you're a chaver. You are friendly enough to my religion, my Judaism, that I can trust you with certain things that you will not ruin my Judaism. It's a very good point you bring up, because this is where I'm going with this. So you see how there's levels. You're a pure goy Christian. You are a pure non-Jew. And as you become closer and friendlier to my religion, then I have different terms that I can call you. Shabbos goy. Maybe you get a little bit closer and I call you a Noahide. And then you get a little bit closer and I call you chas. All these little terms that I call you for getting closer to my religion, right? So as long as you're the Christian that I certainly do not trust, I treat my Jewish wine in your possession as yayin nesach, wine of libation of an idolater, even though it is not. And we have laws, because basically these laws were created that I don't want to hang out with you, I don't want to be near you, because just like as the source of the problem, the idolater ruins my soul, you ruin my religion. And we protect the religion. Because I am careful with religion, you are not careful, and you're a threat to my religion. And that is the construct of the Jewish religion, is it cares about the religion itself, and we define you as the goy, as someone who is a threat and against my religion, either psychologically or just habitually. You're a threat to my religion. Now, the question then becomes, what happens if a goy touches my wine? Some idiot Christian goy, the delivery guy, he touched my wine. So now we go to the rabbi and we say, who was the goy, and did he do a libation? Did he? And look, Rabbi, I really, really want this wine. It cost me $5,000. It's a very special wine. And the rabbi would say, okay, so look, if you saw the goy, he just moved it from, the kitchen table to the fridge. I think we can rely on that he didn't make it blah, blah, blah. And it's all fake. It's all fake, because the original prohibition is on idolatry. You didn't do it. It's just a law and a law and a law and a law to protect it. It's just a house of cards. So we have laws like this. Now, what happens if somehow there's a ger toshav, a careful adherent to the 7 laws of Noach, and he touched my wine? Now suddenly it's okay, because we know that this ger toshav is very, very careful with the mitzvot, and therefore you can rely on his handling of the wine. So that's the wine sugya, right? Now, what I want to bring up is this, and there's a commentary here that loosely describes the situation as follows. What is the definition of a Jew today in exile, religion? And that is, there are no mitzvot today. None. Because you need a Sanhedrin and you need holiness and Levitical reality to really do a mitzvah. Every mitzvah needs the accompaniment of a Levitical reality. So what we do is we ceremonially do the mitzvot, and what the religion emphasizes, and this is a new chiddush I learned tonight, we emphasize being careful in the mitzvot, to where the Jewish religion is actually carefulism. This is why Judaism is so extreme. And what's the word? Machmir is in Hebrew. How do you say machmir in English? Stringent. They enjoy the stringency. And therefore, a ger toshav is this goy acquaintance of mine who is equally stringent in Jewish law. So you and I, you the goy and me the Jew, we both are stringent in our religion, our mutual religion, that I observe our religion as a Jew, you observe it as a non-Jew, strictly, so that when there is in fact overlap, we can trust each other, right? So now, if we are to say that there is no ger toshav today, then what we're saying is the goy does not have the ability to be stringent in Judaism. And be careful, really. It's the word is to be careful. So my religion, since there are no mitzvot today, because a Levitical reality would have the place of religion in Levitical reality is in my if I'm a real Cohen in the real temple, I need to be very careful about my holy Cohen food. And that carefulness would be my religion. Jacques, is that clear to you?
Yep, very much.
So I need to be very careful because this is very real now. It's very, 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 very real. And in a very real reality, I don't want your goyish hands touching my holy food if you're not a Ger Toshav. Because we're taking Levitical very, very serious now. So I don't know where you are in South Africa and what you're doing if you're not Ger Toshav, right? So my religion today is the memorial of carefulness. So we observe strictly to be strict. And we ceremonially do the mitzvot, but the ikar is being careful. And you'll see this in Frum Judaism all across the board. Why is Frumkeit all about Frumkeit? Because that's what it is. It is frum to be frum. Is that clear to you guys? Even like, my sister taught English in Riyadh, and they pretend to be doing Sharia law. And she told me that they all are hypocrites. They do Sharia law on the street, but then they're shacking up at home. Right? No one's keeping Sharia law there. But if you go into public, oh yeah. If I even look at a woman, I get my hand cut off. I would never look at a woman and get my hand cut off. But then they're playing games at home. So it's a big charade. So we pretend to do the mitzvot, but we observe in order to observe. And you, the goy, are expected to do that too. Be careful. But there's no Ger Toshav today. Why are we going to say there's no Ger Toshav today? And I think I found out why. Because the nature of Ger Toshav is so subtle and requires Svei Dinim, the resident alien in the Jubilee, but it's the slave Jubilee, there's more than one Ger Toshav. Very complicated. So I think what modern Judaism is saying is because Ger is complicated, by definition, in order to be careful, I really should be a Noahide to be careful. Just like, even though I'm a Cohen, I should not do things over the top because I can't be careful to be a Cohen. See how religion beats itself up? Even though I should be doing X, since I can't be careful in X, then I'll default to Y. And this is why Judaism shoots itself in the foot all the time. All the time. I really should be doing this, but because I can't be careful in that, I would rather do less and be careful. Is that not Judaism to a T? I should be going there, but because I can't be careful, I'll do the wrong thing or a lesser thing to be careful. Definition of frum. I am a Ger Toshav, and I should be a Ger Toshav, but since I can't be careful with it, so I'm going to be a Noahide. What can I do? And it's wrong. Because if we're going to play the religion game, we have a Torah, right? And so we can be careful. And you can be careful. Be careful. If that's what religion is asking, which I'm not a believer in that whole construct of religion anyways, I think Torah is the ikar. Right? But to be self-sacrificing or self-depreciating because I can't be careful. And this is every religion in the world. Medicine, sports, everybody always my weight loss was illegal because a calorie deficit is very dangerous. You can't be careful. But now I make a living with InBody teaching nutritionists how to do a calorie deficit and still be careful. And there's a very clear way of Torah in that, but they don't know that. So they'll say, look, just get the surgery. Be careful. Safer. They would still tell me today that the surgery is better. But now that I work in the industry, they all confide in me. Do you know how bad the surgery is? They have health problems. They can't eat as much food. So the diet is problematic. Their BMR drops, their calories drop, their body. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Being a Noahide is a nightmare. Being a Jew is a nightmare. This is the world we live in. Every industry has a religion that it defaults to. Muslims are not happy being Muslims. I don't think Christians are deep down so happy either. They wouldn't be leaving the faith. So either default into a crappier reality or go with Torah and be careful. So I think this is the Inyan. What do you guys think? Open up for questions, comments, or feedback, then sign off. What do you guys got?
If I can maybe share something.
Yeah.
It reminds me, I got some books of Farmers Weekly for 23 September 1942. And there was a bit about the war and about this Jesuit priest that was helping Jewish people and especially children escape the Nazis. And I went to research that a bit, and it's interesting that he had to do away with what he was taught by the church to actually be a human being. And what you're saying now, Rabbi Katz, reminds me about that sometimes we get so caught up in our religion that we actually forget about being human, about being decent, about being what we are supposed to be, kind, forgiving, all the traits that God is. We tend to forget that because that is in a way easier to be, but it's actually so simple that we tend to make it more complicated.
Your microphone is very, very muffled, and I don't think I was able to hear that. I just don't think I'm not going to hear you. I'm sorry. It was too muffled. I'm sorry about that.
Rabbi David, I want to say briefly something in defense of Chabadniks, that not all of them have this crazy idea about the Rebbe, even if he's very admirable. But for example, I have heard shiur by Rabbi Mendel Kaplan explaining about what can you expect about Moshiach, and it's obvious that he doesn't have this idea about the Rebbe. I mean, it's not official. I mean, some crazy people do, but it's not like an official Chabad thing. But I want to say also, the only other Jew I have heard saying that religion is nonsense, besides Jew, is Manis Friedman, Rabbi Manis Friedman. And he has a whole series about how religion is bad for you.
Yeah, every from Jew I know says this. Then Jacques, here, I'll let Jacques say it, then I'm going to sign off. Jacques, what do we say about Chaim? What does Chaim say? This is your Chiddush, Jacques.
Well, he rejects religion, but he's the most frum guy on the planet.
You'll see, Raz Friedman is also, he's a Chabadnik, he's the most frum guy in the world. They all say it. They all say it. I gotta sign off. It's now 10 o'clock. Gotta go shower and get to bed. To be continued next week. See you guys.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Thank you, friends.
See you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay.
Good night, all. Bye.